Another month has passed, and it is time for another episode of Choose Our Own Adventure. This is the June show. This is the June show of Choose Our Own Adventure. So let's go around the table and see who we have with us. Across the table, who is here?
I am Leslie Ellsworth, hostess of The Weekly Prophet.
That's right. This Paprika is not a one-man show. We have many people. Leslie is one of those people. To my right, who do we have?
Jerron Jackson, culinarian, athlete, podcaster, philanthropist.
Well, I noticed he had all that and didn't even say anything about trivia. And to my left, who do we have?
Brian. Brian Martin, trivia host.
Legionnaire.
And that's all.
And that's all. A general man of the people.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there's been some passings since we did this last, but I didn't write any of them down.
Yeah, in memoriam segment.
No memoriam segment.
We talked about Grumpy Cat last time.
Yeah. Gloria Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was just a couple days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Anderson Cooper's mom, isn't she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so I thought you were just going to be like, and Anderson Cooper. I'm like, what?
No, he comes from the long money.
He comes with that long money. I think his hair is so perfect. It's that long money.
Makes sense.
It all makes sense. Before we get started, because this is a bit of a shorter episode, does anybody have anything that they want to throw out to the table that they want to talk about?
I've actually got nothing. I did finish Jessica Jones, though.
Oh, okay.
It was a good ending.
That's something.
Good ending? Yeah. I was just reading on Facebook before we started this. Somebody was like, wasn't a big fan of that ending. So it was kind of lackluster. You disagree?
Well, that's a good sign then.
Yeah.
If the internet fan community is like, that sucked, then it's probably pretty good.
I thought it was
I don't know.
decent.
Dark Phoenix?
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, when we can all agree on them, it's like that time when Optimus Prime and Megatron had to team up to beat the Fallen or whatever. It's like we hate each other and the audience hates them. Everybody hates everybody, but we still have to, we all working towards like, that's the guy we hate the most. Sorry, Dark Phoenix.
Sorry, Dark Phoenix. Well, no, I'm not sorry at all. They knew better. But anyways. So let's get into it. Our very first one comes from Mr. Scott Self, a staple of Choose Our Own Adventure. And he says, my 7-year-old son, Cormac, believes he would be able to defeat Captain Marvel as she would not be able to adapt to his fighting style.
I believe that's true.
Which is by far the dopest thing a 7-year-old could ever
Have you met a
say.
7-year-old? I mean, they're wily creatures.
They're
Good night, everybody.
I have met this 7-year-old multiple times, and
I was not impressed.
I can verify that I would not be able to adapt to his fighting style. He's a dope ass kid.
With a name like Cormac, it makes me think he's like a robot human hybrid. I am Cormac.
Either that or he's taking the Infinity Stones for himself.
Oh, there you go.
I assume it's the latter. Well, when he was not firstborn, but for years they didn't cut his hair, so he had like these long blonde locks.
That's where his power
We
came
called him Baby Thor for the longest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Baby Thor is that dude. So shout out to Baby Thor
Maybe
himself.
Thormac.
Well, no
Baby
wonder he
Thormac.
thinks he
Yes.
can-
Yes.
You can
Thormac
have that
McCarthy.
one. You can have that one, Scott.
That was free. I'm not sure if he's named after the author or not. I think he is.
How many Cormacs are there?
Yeah,
There's
just
just the one.
road.
There's just been the one.
Okay,
Mr. Blood Meridian.
What MCU superhero do you think you could overcome and how?
Oh, wow.
That's a tough
I actually had to
It is
put
a
some
tough
thought into this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
Now, hear me out here, because, of course, I'm not going to take him on one-on-one, toe-to-toe.
Nope.
There's no way I can stand with him. I'm going to hire a bunch of goons to fight him in a hallway.
Okay.
And
Well,
as
at least you know he won't win an Emmy.
Harsh.
He's going to go through all those goons or whatever. But at the end of that fight, when he gets to the end of the hallway, he's going to be exhausted. and then I'm going to just clock them.
I thought what you'd do is you just bring in like a ladle and a pan and just start banging on it.
Like, I can't tell where he's
Like
at.
he's like, boy, that fight was shit.
That probably would have worked for Ben Affleck's Daredevil. But
I think it did at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Why a ladle in a soup pan? I can't. I'm disoriented and dinner's ready.
Pang, pang, pang.
no, my thinking being like episode to episode, he's never had a moment to rest or recover or
No,
anything. He's
man.
probably had the shit beaten out of him by then. And
There's a couple times in season 3 where like he just got worked, and then like the next episode, I'm like, there's not even a bruise on his face. What's going on here? All right, then Daredevil. Good
pretty
call,
good.
sir. Good guy. Yeah, I didn't even think
good
about the Netflix people. What about you, Leslie?
I I went with Tom Holland Spider-Man because he's so adorably awkward and young and hopefully easy to trick.
Just throw some spoilers at him.
No, I would go for one of the typical villain staple moves and set it up so that someone from a hospital was calling him to tell him that his Aunt May was in an accident.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'd make sure that he was at a point where he didn't have access to his. I'm gonna call them webcasters because I don't know what they are.
Yeah. Oh, you just mean like his webbing?
Yeah.
his web
His
shooters?
web shooters? Web
Yeah,
shooters. is
Shooters.
what- Yeah.
There we go.
Shoot up.
And
Not the Mark Wahlberg movie.
No.
I will use a few stun guns or kettle prods to
Whoa, Jesus.
incapacitate him. Well,
This is dark real quick. You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm not the most, strong, intimidating person there is. I mean, I'm up there, but
I like how two people in, we're already just coming up with these just devious ways of taking people out from a question from a 7-year-old.
What about you, Brian? What you got?
I'm going back to my standby that Thanos is my answer.
Jeez.
And the way you beat Thanos is with tickle.
Gucci. Right up in those
Because
wrinkles there.
he's all wrinkly, and you get your fingers up and they go. Just like nobody tried it.
Thank goodness he didn't say pin particles and.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, but I'm just assuming all I have are my fingers.
Well, there you go. There you go. I went a different route with this. I said Rocket Raccoon.
I thought about that.
I'm just gonna punt
Buick.
the shit out of him. Done and done. Like if I just gotta find a way to get him disarmed or catch him off guard, I'm just gonna boot the fuck out of that raccoon.
I did consider setting Baby Groot on fire.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Yes.
Ice cold.
There's
Cold-blooded.
ice in the veins, man. This is when you think you know somebody.
Thanks a lot, Cormac.
I know what? I'm really surprised nobody said Hawkeye because I assumed like that was my first thought. I was like, oh, obviously it's Hawkeye, right? And then I do a little bit of extra thinking.
I don't think I can run fast enough. I think he would just hit me with an arrow from across the field.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, across the same meadow that
He'd have
Thanos is
a-
at.
Right, yeah.
He'd have a snack arrow and I'm done.
What did you say?
He'd have a snack arrow. I'm done.
Should have pitched at the
like
fraction
one of those-
last week at the con.
It's like one of those old Hostess ads.
Ooh, snacks and just blows up.
Yeah.
Oh, Star Crunch.
I saw Mambas at the store the other day. When was the last time you guys heard of Mambas?
You gotta go to
No.
one of the
It's been-
specialty stores.
Yeah,
to get
you gotta go to the
get a
old school
Mamba.
candy shops. for
Yeah,
those.
I saw them at work. That's where I saw them. Yeah, because we have like a little cafeteria downstairs where we're at, and yeah, there's Mambas just sitting there, and I was just staring at them like I know these things.
Man, finding those is like running across the Jumanji board game. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, just a pack of Mambas washed up on the beach somewhere. All right, so let's move it on to the other half. Cormac's mom, Shannon, says your first childhood pop culture crush.
Oh.
Who are they? Where'd you originally find them, and where are they now? I'll go
In my
first.
basement.
Right?
I think I forgot something outside. I'll be right back.
I have two, and it's because I can't remember which, like, order of events which came first. Carrie Fisher and Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
When I first saw Star Wars, I was like, "Yo, who is this?" she's the dopeness. And then, of course, Return of the Jedi exacerbated things. And then, and Gillian Anderson watching X-Files, I was like, "Oh, this chick don't take no shit from nobody." And I really like that about Scully. That might be where my obsession with redheads also started. I trace it back to Gillian Anderson. And where are they now? Well, unfortunately, we know where Carrie Fisher is. Gillian Anderson, last time I saw her was on that first season of American Gods, as a couple of different characters. Specifically, notably, she was Dave Bowie, and that was very well done. And she's on a show now called Sex Education, which I
didn't
forget
know that.
what station that's on.
It's on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, I think it's a
okay.
Netflix original.
Wasn't she also on a different Netflix? The Killer?
The Fall.
The Fall.
The Fall. Her
Yeah.
and Colin Morgan was also in that, although he was not a star.
He was just
Wow,
the guy they hired off
jeez.
the streets, or
No, he.
But he's not a star, so forget
No,
it.
he was not
Fuck 'em.
the star.
okay.
he
was Gillian Anderson the star?
Yeah, Gillian Anderson was the star. The actor, I want to say the actor who played Christian Grey. I can. never remember
Oh
his name.
yeah, that guy.
He was the villain, and then Colin Morgan is a favorite actor of mine, and the reason why I actually watched the show initially. He's like a guest star in a few episodes.
Oh, okay. All right. Then. Yeah, so Carrie Fisher and Gillian Anderson from me. What about you guys?
Oh man,
This is gonna be good.
gotta go Penny from Good Times, man. Janet Jackson.
I'm with it.
Jackson.
I am with
Yes,
it. Yes.
yes.
That woman has aged well.
Yes,
Yeah.
man. I just like. I think you're watching those later seasons of Good Times when she came on. First, it was fucked up because she was getting abused like a motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah, but I was like, damn, she is cute.
She's cute. Jamal was like,
Then-
fuck these temporary layoffs. Good
Yes.
time. I'm trying to get temporarily laid.
Then like transition into different strokes when she was Willis's girlfriend. I was like,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, and she's talented too.
yeah.
What?
And then boom. It's like
Boom. And it was on. It was on.
And we Janet's still doing it today, like to this day.
It still looks good, doing it.
Yes. There was a Janet Jackson clause before there was a Rosario Dawson clause.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The clause just gets updated every couple years.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
10-year-old
She's still-
Jermon working it.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
If she happens to listen to this, she might be a patron. We never know.
Somewhere
You
Jermon's
cheap
got
bastard.
somewhere Jermon's got like something he wrote in second grade that at the top of the page says the Janet Jackson clause, and there's a big red C- in the upper right corner.
Just a contract written in crayon.
CLAWS. All right. What about you, Leslie?
So I don't really count Mark Hamill because I really liked Luke Skywalker, but I wanted to be him. I wanted force powers. So
For evil.
for good at the time.
At the time.
I mean, I'm a fantastic person. It
Things
would
have
of course
changed.
be for good.
That's what all the evil ones say.
That's what it sounds like a Sith.
Noah Hathaway, he played Boxy in Battlestar Galactica, but I knew him as Atreyu in the first The Neverending Story.
Yeah, he was
okay.
cute.
Yeah, he was very cute. He's gone in and out of acting a couple of times, worked for a number of years as a tattoo artist. Most recently, he was in the 2014 movie The Chair as Alvarez.
Never heard of it.
And I hadn't either. Is rumored to be involved in the newly announced Nightmare City, which I also have never heard of.
You said rumored to be, and I was going to be like Dune, like every other actor on the face of the planet. Fremen number 18.
Is Christian Bale in that?
No, that guy. Not yet.
Oh, my
Not yet. He's the
God.
surprise reveal. Watch. Damn, good call. Good call. Man, I haven't watched that movie in forever.
I love it. I mean, I have the Orin tattooed on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I love that film.
He was definitely the cutest character in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question. Everything in that movie is pretty repulsive.
And Bastion just kind of looked like a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like the every kid. They're like, find a
Yeah.
kid that literally looks like every single kid.
Exactly.
My name is Jack Everyman. And it's like his driver's license is just a composite of other people's people's driver's license to make a face. He really is every man. That's actually an idea me and a friend have for comedy. All right, then, sir. What about you?
So it's hard for me to remember like who my first whether it was like Belinda Carlisle or maybe Phoebe Cates in Gremlins, or there's a lot of things, but I definitely know one character that predated all of them was Tila on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
The movie?
No, the cartoon.
Okay. All right then.
I don't know that I actually had like an actual human crush before like the age of 26. They were all just cartoon characters.
And then it was just Tina Turner from Thunderdome.
I had crushes on book characters quite often.
Tila was the first glimpse I had of a woman that wasn't my mother.
Okay.
So she had that kind of sort of not. I don't want to call it too provocative, but the outfit was a little bit
something.
I was like, what is this? What is the female form? I'm unfamiliar with this. What's happening here?
All right then.
But she was tough. The only woman in Eternia other than the sorceress.
Right.
And
that makes it pretty rough for her.
I don't know what happened to her, but I think she lives in Florida now. And she opened a nonprofit for endangered birds.
What do you know, man?
It's crazy how things turn out, you know?
All right then. Celebrity crushes. We have a joint from Manny, Mr. Stargate himself, Manfredonia.
Oh,
and he wants us to talk about actors who sold their souls to a studio and now forced to make shitty movies. Looking at you, Nick Cage.
Jeez.
Which made me mad. It made me mad because Nick Cage is going to be my pick.
I feel like the question here is really just what happened to Nick Cage.
Yeah, basically.
Because I mean, that's the only, well, I think I can think of one other answer to this question. Maybe you guys came up with one.
I did.
Kind of, sort of.
I mean, mine is
kind
kind of just the how did you get on this career path?
Mine was I could not find. My Google Foo was not good, and I couldn't find anything specifically like, stuck in a contract. But I found a whole bunch of, didn't want to make this one movie or this one sequel, that type of thing, but not, a string of movies.
What you got, Javon?
I was going to say, I wouldn't even necessarily say sold to a studio, but his output is getting so ridiculous now that, there are so many movies that you're just like, I'm going to say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not, and that's not to say the quality of his movies are bad. He's got a presence, of course, but he is pumping out so many
We're
damn
just getting
movies.
too much Rock.
Yeah, there's too many
Too
forgettable movies that are popping up,
Too many forgettable movies.
like Skyscraper and all this, some of this other
That
stuff.
was kind of fun.
I'm sure it was fun.
The only thing I remember from Skyscraper is the that meme photo
graph.
of the graph of the arc of his jump and how he couldn't possibly make it to the other side.
But yeah, other than that, I would say and going with the question that's just straight making shitty movies and just what happened. Cuba Gooding Jr.
What
That
did
was the
happen?
worst. That was the worst Oscar fall I've ever seen in my life.
Oscar and then did Snow Dogs.
Yeah, and then since then it was just trash. Ever since then,
Since he won this Oscar, as far as I can remember, he's been in one respectable thing.
Was it American Gangster?
American Gangster.
Yeah, I was like, I saw him there. I was like, okay,
Nicky
he's coming back.
Barnes.
He's coming back.
Well,
It's like,
and then he was in the first season of American Crime Story, the O.J. Simpson.
yes.
Oh, at which he got
that's
nominations.
right.
Yeah,
Emmy
he was
nominations.
really good in that. And you
Yeah.
think, maybe he's coming back. Maybe this is it. And then it's like, nope.
And he just starred in that new video about him groping the woman that just hit the news. So they got that going for you. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, some woman accused him of groping at a party, and he's like, "You ain't got no evidence." And then I think they
American
released-
Crime Story, Cuba Gooding Jr.
I know
that
the
shouldn't
footage
be
came out, but I can't remember if the footage was in his favor or against his favor.
Okay.
Yeah. But he refused to turn himself into the police, so there was
Oh, jeez.
there was a
That's no
couple
good.
of 2 or 3 days. It was I think on HLN it was Cuba Gooding Jr. watch. Will he turn himself into the police today? And I'm
is
like,
he
man,
really?
slow
He's
news.
going method like OJ right now. It's like-
Calls Ryan Murphy, sees if they've still got that white Bronco.
No, times have changed. We got Prius now.
It's a piece of performance art.
He used to go taking the Joaquin Phoenix route. He's just going really. I have one for you, man. I'm still started out decently and then got real shitty real quick. Gerard Butler.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, besides the Fallen movies, which I guess somehow make money.
When I saw that trailer for the newest one, I was like, why?
But they make money.
I guess.
I don't know how, but then there's so much stuff like The Bounty Hunter was crap. Legend of the Bone Napper.
What?
It was a
I don't
it
even.
was a short film.
Mr. Banana Grabber.
It's probably a short film in the fact that like the director who like just went in
Gave
20
up
minutes is like, I can't do this anymore.
It's called Bone Grabber. Cut print.
in a movie called The Machine Gun Preacher.
I think
Oh,
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gift of the Night Fury. That was another short film. Oh, that was a sequel to Bone Napper. Oh man. So,
Well, how do we know it's not good?
yeah, well, that's true. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Wasn't
guys.
he in Gamer? Wasn't that the name
Yeah,
of the
there was
movie where-
Gamer.
He's
Yeah.
in Gamer. Yeah, that movie was
Law
not
Law-abiding
that
bad.
one.
citizen.
Oh yeah.
Movie 43. Yeah, he's in
Oh.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard very bad things.
it
about
is
that.
terrible.
Yes, on those very. Oh, A Family Man.
Got nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. All right, yeah. So Geostorm. Let's not forget that that
Oh,
Oscar-winning classic. So yeah, wow, rough. What you got, Brian?
I mean, the name the name that always comes to my mind when I think of people whose career has just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse over time is Adam Sandler, and at least he's got that Netflix deal now.
Yeah.
So it's like he is kind of tied to them, and like
Yeah.
they're like, Adam Sandler, we want you to produce a mountain of shit for us. And he's like,
6-movie
okay, I'll
deal.
do it.
I'm not gonna front, man. I just saw that murder mystery trailer. I was like, that doesn't look terrible.
I
really
wanna
hope it
see
doesn't.
it.
I really
I
hope
wanna
it, I
see
really
it.
hope it's not.
Netflix said it is one of their highest watched movies.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah, they did,
Yeah.
and but it was like the numbers were very dubious. It was like
All of Netflix's
more
numbers are
people
dubious.
watched this in one weekend than all the people who watched the Game of Thrones finale, and I'm like, yeah,
I don't think Adam Sandler's pulling that kind of weight.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so.
It seems like the weirdest movies that they knew was like Bird Box. Everybody watched it, and I'm like, did they? The only one I will trust is the Bandersnatch numbers. What's up, Leslie?
Oh, I was gonna say the favorite story that I came across while researching was Bill Murray getting stuck in the Garfield movie.
Oh.
So if you don't know the story, he saw the script, glanced through the first few pages, thought it was an animated flick by Joel Cohen. C-O-E.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
but there's
It
the
was
other.
Joel Cohen
Was it?
of
Yeah.
Evan Almighty and Cheaper by the Dozen with an
And-
H in the
Wow.
middle of his name.
And it's the same. I think he's the same guy who wrote like Men in Black 3.
Yeah.
He probably gets
I
a
think it's
bunch
the
of
same
gigs
guy.
just
Because-
like on the name confusion.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
the
that's how he gets
Cohen
all
thing.
of his work. He shows up and they're like, "Fuck!"
It's like,
It's the wrong one.
it's like that's not Lebowski guys.
You're one half of the Lebowskis? No. Are you one half of Oh Brother Where Art Thou? No. Are you at least one half of Hail Caesar? No. Well, you're here now, so yeah. Congratulations, you won.
It's the last day of filming, and the guy's like, "Hey, Mom, I think they think I'm somebody else."
Yeah, I got here. It was really goodwill, and then now it's just no one wants to talk to me on
I
set.
couldn't believe how quickly I got hired, and oh boy.
He kept asking me about a guy named Ethan. All right, then. We have a two-part X-Men question here. First one comes from Paprika's resident heartthrob, young Evan Peanut Butter. And he asks...
Smooth.
Smooth. He's a smooth dude. He put a
He's
video...
gonna give you a nut allergy.
He put a video, I think it was on one of the Saturday Night Threads,
Yeah.
or at some point about
Saturday
him...
night.
about him like just drunk doing like karate on the roof. And it was the fucking best video. It's just
sounds-
flailing his digits.
That
all
sounds
over the
so
place.
80s.
Oh man, it is hilarious. Dude. All right, here's what we got. He said, now that X-Men is ending its tenure with Fox, what's an actor/actress that you really want to see brought into the MCU as a mutant, and which mutant should they play? Hey, what you got, Brian?
It's really hard to come up with an actor or actress who has not in some way appeared in the MCU already. Is what
It's getting
Yeah,
few and
we're
far
getting to that
between.
one of the
Yeah.
things. But it's also hard to think of an X-Men character that I care to see on the screen at this point in my life, because I'm just like, man, it's so tired. So what I did is I really thought hard from the performer aspect. Who's an actor or actress I would want to see that has not been in the MCU, and then what character would I make them, right? So I thought about it not in the terms of a character I'd want to see, because I really want to see Gambit done well on a screen.
Goddamn
Yes,
right you
yes.
do.
But as far as the performer that I want to see, I want to see Kiernan Shipka, and Kiernan Shipka as the Stepford Cuckoos.
Okay.
Emma Frost.
Yeah,
Emma
the
Frost
There used to
girls.
be 5 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them died.
Two are
And now,
clapped
so we could put
up,
5
yeah.
Kiernan Shipkas in the movie.
All right, then. All right. Ooh, very, very good
But I think
call.
the Stepford Cuckoos are really, really neat kind of
To that
characters.
whole weird
Yeah.
hive mind
I-
concept.
yes.
So oddly, mine goes really well with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I want to bring in Emma Frost / the White Queen.
There you go.
Who's
But,
going to play her?
January Jones going to get work again?
Can't be Kiernan Shipka.
no,
No.
she will never get work again.
No, it'll
Not
be,
while I'm in
uh,
town.
Well, the funny thing is, January Jones played Emma Frost in First Class.
Yes.
Kiernan Shipka played her daughter on Mad Men.
Wow.
I
that's
literally just
right.
realized that.
That's
Nice.
right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was actually going to go with Natalie Dormer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I
yeah.
think she could-
She seemed a little freaky. Yeah.
She's a little freaky.
I think
Yeah.
she could pull off the
I think-
attitude and.
She can definitely pull off the attitude.
Yeah.
You know, I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. But she's been in the MCU already.
Yeah, she's Captain America: First Avenger.
Yes.
She
She's
was
that
the
She's a
fan
desk
records
clerk in
officer.
Yeah.
Captain America.
I mean, if you can
Well, I
have
mean,
Chris Evans,
they've
being
had-
fantastic.
But I mean,
They've had quite a few people play multiple characters.
Totally
though. I
different
mean,
thing. Totally different thing.
Alfred Woodard played two different characters.
I mean, even that's crossing platforms. Though.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He played Doctor Strange and
Okay, all
Dormammu.
right, technically, but they
this-
meant to
this
do
guy.
that.
Yeah, they-
Laura Haddock. She was in First Avenger, and then she played Meredith Quill.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
all
Good.
right,
Good.
all right,
I'll
all
give
right.
you that one. I'll give you that one.
Right, and what's his name
Jamon.
from the he's the Asian
Yeah,
dude
the principal from
was the principal and the Howling
and
Commander
he was
guy.
one of the Howling
But to be
Commandos.
fair,
But they're
that is-
related.
that's
Descended,
his-
yeah.
So
his
now-
descendant.
What do you
Natalie
say?
Dormer's character from Captain America
Yeah,
is
it's
simply the
son.
grandmother of Emma Frost. Problem solved.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
And
Weird.
Captain America is her dad.
Weird.
It's got weird. All right.
Okay,
What you got, Sherrod?
I have a couple here. One's for fun. One's the real one. I'm gonna go.
We can't put Samuel Jackson in everything.
No, I'm
you know.
not. He's
Oh.
already there. See, I'm cool with Nick Fury, but no, I'm gonna go. What's his name? Oh yeah, Gary Oldman as Magneto.
Ooh.
Yes, that's my big pick. I want, and then just for fun, I kind of want to see Bill Hader as Morph.
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
Wow. Gary Sinise is Magneto.
Ooh, that's
But
good
you
too.
ain't got
man.
no legs, Magneto.
Wait, who did you said Gary Sinise?
No, I said Gary Oldman.
Oh,
Okay.
I heard
Oldman.
Gary
I,
Sinise.
I was gonna
he would
say
be. He would
whoa.
actually be decent too, though.
I'll say Gary Sinise is like old Crystal Professor X.
And Gary Sinise could play like a Forge.
I'll give it to you.
I
I
can
mean,
see
he's
that.
not
I
Native
can kinda see
American.
that, yeah.
American.
Oh, but he's got
He
a pretty
brought
wide
that-
range, you know, like
like Day Lewis. You know, he's a Mohican, right?
yeah, right.
He's done a
sure,
thing
why
or
not?
two.
Why not?
All right, then. I have my own Magneto. I like to see Jeremy Irons.
Ooh, that's a good
play
one too.
Magneto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would have the weight and the gravitas and
Yeah.
whatnot that he could pull that off.
Who would you put across from him?
I don't know, Gary Sinise. I don't know.
I would. I was thinking maybe Bryan Cranston as Professor X, maybe.
Get down with that.
Interesting.
Because he's
He's
bald.
bald. It's a Google ball wife. Michael Chiklis is your new just bald guy. Professor X.
The Rock.
If we can't get Chiklis, we'll just get the dude from Breaking Bad, Uncle Hank or Hank or whatever. his
Yeah,
name is.
Hank Schrader,
Oh.
dude. Yeah, that
Hank
dude.
Schrader. Dude from Claws.
Michael Chiklis Light.
Yeah, that's like Chiklis Light. All right, then. And to follow that, Duquan Swin, a.k.a. C2.0, asks, how and when would you bring the X-Men into the MCU? I think I would like to have the first X-person pop up in Doctor Strange 2's end credits. And that's when he runs into Magic, played by Anna Taylor-Joy in the
yeah.
New Mutants movie. That might come out at some point. And then that's how we establish that there is another parallel universe, because the multiverse is being brought up in Far From Home, that there is a universe out there where there were never any Avengers. This planet had X-Men instead. And then that could lead into an X-Men movie, as long as audiences realize, oh, this is happening in a completely different dimension. And then in Doctor Strange 3, when he has the big battle with Mordo, and it's just magic being thrown all around, that's what fucks up reality and brings the X-Men into the Avengers world.
Okay.
That's how I'd like to see that done.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I was thinking of course, they said they weren't going to touch X-Men for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking when they introduce them, because the big problem is obviously, how do you say that mutants have always been around this whole time and they didn't get involved? Well, I would have it to where the mutants just start popping up at that point, maybe 5 years down the line, except for maybe Magneto and Professor X, of course, since they're older. But the mutant phenomenon is just starting to grow, as those X-Men movies start.
Okay.
And so 5 years down the line, then we start seeing these, maybe that is the next step of evolution beyond the Inhumans and stuff like that.
Maybe it's from that soda in the Hulk.
With
that
Stan Lee
started the
drink?
whole-
Yeah, the Stanley soda pop.
Oh, what do you have, Brad?
So my kind of the same thing. I think mutants kind of need to crop up at some point to explain why they haven't been around. But so now that we're not doing Inhumans and nobody gives a shit,
Yeah.
I would kind of merge that into the mutant kind of narrative. So let's make it a thing where the Kree was experimenting on humans thousands and thousands of years ago, and humanity has grown, and they have this sort of latent trigger inside of them that will trigger a mutant change. And once it's triggered, 25% of the entire population of the world becomes a mutant.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
in the ensuing chaos, factions emerge very quickly. I'm thinking sort of like The Stand almost, where it's people have to get behind certain people, and there are figureheads that emerge. Like Xavier is a figurehead, and he's this pacifist, and he's like, we need to work together. And Magneto is a guy who was detained in a detention camp as an immigrant. He's not we're doing away with the World War II thing now.
Yeah.
But he was ripped from the headlines kind of story. He, in his teenage years, was detained in a horrific, inhumane camp, and has sort of grown up with this animosity built in towards regimes and governments. And he's another figurehead. And then you've got the alpha mutant that the Kree began their experimentation on thousands of years ago in Saban-Nur,
Apocalypse.
with the Dark Riders. And so there's these factions emerging around the world to kind of lay claim to that quarter of humanity that is now doesn't know what they're doing with themselves.
I like it.
Nice.
What you got, Leslie?
So I decided it would be good to utilize the quantum realm, and set it a little bit in the future from Endgame to maybe either Ant-Man's children or grandchildren, or Hank Pym's later progeny are messing around with the quantum realm and time travel and all that stuff, and sort of the same thing as the Doctor Strange magic kind of throwing things awry. Something goes wrong and they get taken into the multiverse, into an X-Men world. Yeah.
Be another great idea? Because who'd be perfect at dicking things up like that in the quantum realm? Franklin and Valeria Richards.
Oh, those sons of
So
bitches.
if you get Franklin and Valeria Richards, they start mucking things up. Something goes really wrong, and Franklin's like, "Oh, I got it. I'll just make a new reality." And he hastily cobbles together this sort of new reality, and that's maybe the X-Men continuity or something.
I'm with it. Yeah, I find it interesting that everybody's like, the X-Men are coming. X-Men. You don't really hear too many people talk about the Fantastic Four. And the fact that they're also.
I think it feels like it's almost more than obvious that they're going to be the ones that end up buying Stark Tower.
Well, now there are people saying it's Osborn.
Oh,
not,
Osborn.
Yeah, not the Richards there. No Baxter Tower there.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be the head of the centerpiece for Oscorp.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm thinking that is going to be one of the surprise reveals in Far From Home.
That's good thinking.
Is the fact that
Because it is weird that would have been such a pivotal part of the first Spider-Man movie if it's not something we're coming back to later in part 2.
Yeah, setting
it
up
would have
in
just been
Spider-Man
like
continuity.
it's like Spider-Man as a franchise is just on cleanup duty at that point. So
Yeah.
it makes more sense to kind of revisit that thread for sure.
Yeah, I'm with
thought.
that. I think we're gonna get some Oscorp coming up in this joint. All right then. Vikram asked us to talk about Battlestar Galactica. That's it. That's all it was. Talk about Battlestar Galactica. Has anybody watched either of the Battlestars?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I may have watched an episode of the original, two of the original when I was a kid. Or I actually just remember the opening intros and stuff.
Yeah.
I think because back in the day, I think they always used to have that running back to back with Buck Rogers, and
That sounds about right.
yeah, and I just love watching those intros to the shows more than
The
the
promise,
shows themselves.
the promise of those intros
Yes.
never lived up. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all those shows in the 80s were like
Yeah.
that. A-Team was like that.
Knight Rider,
Riders
yes.
opening. It's like, this is the fucking
is
coolest
epic.
show ever. And it's like not.
Jermon is the reverse Netflix. Like he needs a button to like skip the show instead
Yeah,
of
and
skipping
watch
the
this, the
intro.
intro.
That's it. That's why I always got so like when that skip intro button first popped up when I think the weekend Stranger Things 2 came out.
Yep.
I was like, fuck you. Who out there will press this button? I
And
don't want to
almost
talk to
everybody
a single
I know
one
does.
of you people who
Almost
presses the button.
I never pressed that button.
This is such an inherent part of the show to me. Like a solid intro. Do you know how hard it is to find those now?
Yeah.
Most of them are just phoned the fuck in. But
Most
like,
of it was just like cold open,
Yeah.
and then credits appear over it.
Yeah.
And then the killer smash cut.
right.
Yeah. I think there's a lost art of good opening credits.
And Stranger Things, to be the one that was the first one I saw that on, I'm like, this
It's like, are
is
you
not
kidding me?
right. Like, like, what kind of a monster is skipping the main titles of Stranger Things?
Most people I know.
You are
unfortunately.
monsters.
The opening credits for BoJack as well.
Yeah.
Is a nice little tune there too. And Archer, man, there's some good opening credits.
Right. I mean, don't skip the opening
don't
credits,
skip
guys.
the opening credits, guys.
Get in your headspace. Use that time to get in the right headspace.
Exactly.
Now, what if you're binging? Do you think it's different if you're binging?
Don't binge
That's
television.
that's the
You can just go
Did you
home.
just
That
tell
can be
somebody
different.
in 2019 not to binge television?
For
not gonna
shame.
binge
Here's my
Stranger
thing about
Things.
binging television. I don't believe anybody has enough time to sit down and just watch a show.
every season of Daredevil. I think
I don't know
think
who you
seasons
people
2
are.
and 3 of Daredevil I watched from beginning to end in one sitting.
Okay, so now like if you
Iron
happen to
Fist
have that
season
kind
1
of time,
beginning to
that's
end in
okay.
one season. Luke Cage season 2 was beginning to end. Jessica Jones season 1 was beginning to end in one season.
All right.
Stranger Things 1
It's
and
just
2.
like that's a lot of binging though. Like
Yeah.
like there are people out there who just binge watch literally everything they watch, and I'm like, there's no way you're watching all of this. You're definitely doing some laundry. You're definitely cooking dinner.
See,
during
that's the
this
thing about
episode.
it. You use the opening credits to go throw your laundry in real quick. Like that's what I use opening credits.
You
for
got 30
sometimes.
seconds,
Go get another drink. Go check the phone real quick. See what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
And
great
commercials.
thing about the ways that you binge. You have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have Amazon Prime, you stream it, you can pause it to cook that dinner and pause it to throw your laundry into the dryer. And then you go back to sitting on the couch and binging and feel like you had a productive day.
Go look at the sun once in a while is all I'm saying. Not directly at it. That's not good.
If a president can, then everybody can.
It looks really nice up there.
Yeah, it looks bright.
Battlestar Galactica.
B-Star G is as me and my friends like to call it. I think Battlestar Galactica is. I've only finished, I think, maybe 6 shows total from beginning to end. I've only finished 6 shows. Battlestar Galactica is one of those 6 shows. I mean, granted, it's only 4 seasons. The new one.
But I mean, it's a lot though. I mean,
They
in those
pack a lot
4
of shit in
seasons,
that.
it's very dense. Yeah, and I loved it. I thought it was terrific. from
It
beginning
is,
to end.
yeah. I think the fact that they shot it documentary style, it immerses you more into the story than just shooting with your regular Steadicam would have done. Steadicam just kind of you're just a bystander of what's going on, whereas that documentary style shooting, you're there with them, like, oh shit, Dwala, what are you gonna do next?
I think I watched maybe like I've watched through the first 2 seasons and I think part of the third, but I've never quite managed to finish it.
What did you like about it?
I think they're like among the cast. I don't think there's like a dead spot. Like I think that every character on that show has a moment. I think every character on the show is compelling. I never got bored. and characters I thought I'd hate, I'd end up liking, and vice versa. It was just a very, very interesting, well done sci-fi show, and a lot of people I think give it flack for they didn't know where they were going with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, nobody ever knows where they're going with everything. And I think the best show to look at and say, see what happens when you know your ending in advance is How I Met Your Mother. It's like, this is what happens when you have everything mapped out. So stop complaining because the Lost guys didn't know how it was going to end when they started. Stop complaining about how the BSG guys didn't know how they were going to end it when it started. And just enjoy the damn ride.
I 100% agree with all of that. I think I've said it many, many times on Pop Riga, the best science fiction is when they explore humanity. And I think that is one thing that is inherently important to the mythology of Battlestar Galactica. It's the fact that they created these things that created these things, right? So it's like, who is the god here? And who serves who and all that kind of good stuff. What happens when the things you create, rise up and overpower you. Some of the things that the good guys do in the names of good guy shit aren't always good. To the fact where there were the actors and actresses playing these roles were getting upset, like, no, this is not what the good guys do. And it's also, hey, we're in the middle of war right now. These people are trying to wipe us off the map completely. Sometimes you gotta do some bad guy shit for good guy purposes. So there's a whole lot of moral dilemmas, and
it
social
wasn't
dilemmas.
just humans good, Cylons bad. It wasn't.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of gray areas in there. There's Cylons that ended up turning good, like the Sharon Valeri Cylon. You had a couple of shady fucking humans, like all of Gaius Baltar, who I love. Is your Tom Zareks in there, who occasionally did good shit sometimes. I think it is. You're a fan of sci-fi? Are you? Yeah. Is this a show you just never got around to, or didn't interest you?
I don't think I just never dug into it. I think I was probably just into so much other stuff at the time. Like, it just couldn't find the time. This was, of course, pre-streaming. So
2004, 2009.
Well, the funny thing is, like, they had the 2-part like kickoff thing that was like the miniseries. And I watched that when it aired, and I thought, well, this is good, but they're never picking it up.
Yeah.
And then it got picked up, and I missed like a whole season, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to wait till this whole thing's over. So I didn't come back to it until probably 2009 and watch the whole thing. Like, it was definitely over by the time I watched it.
I picked it up in between seasons 3 and 4, and then I watched 4 live. My favorite memory of Battlestar Galactica is I was working at NSA. My trainer one morning sat me down. He's like, this is the shit we're going over. Boom, 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 boom. And I was like, oh, this day is going to suck. And then his buddy comes around the corner. He's like, didn't you want to borrow season 3 of Battlestar? And my trainer goes, well, I'm gone for the rest of the week. And I didn't see him after like 9 a.m. That was like a Wednesday. I didn't see him again until Monday. It is an amazing. Do you know what the premise behind the new revamp version is?
Not really.
The premise is we created these robots. They eventually turned on us, and they, your general standard, pretty much AI rebellion, right? That all happened years ago. Mm-hmm. Years of tenuous truce.
It's been like a Cold War.
Yeah, the Cold War has gone by, and
for a decade or so.
We don't know what they've been doing, and they pretty much just fucking come back and sneak attack it, and then they wipe out all of humanity but 55,000 people.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And they're just in a caravan cruising around the stars.
Yeah. They're just constantly on the run, and then the things we create are just trying their hardest to fucking wipe us out. The thing about it is they, in their time away, have created robots that now look exactly like us. So then it comes that whole paranoid thing of the whole McCarthyism era of, I don't know if my neighbor is, he was doing some shady shit the other day. Is he one of the Cylons? And you don't know who you can trust and who you can't trust.
And then like a year later, we got Secret Invasion. That's true.
Secret Invasion is 2008, isn't it?
Yeah.
He definitely jacked it.
No. He jacked Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well,
Secret Invasion.
I think the timing is fairly interesting. I mean, technically they both jacked that, but the timing could not have been more
uncanny.
Who can you trust? Who's been replaced? Who's not really this person?
Yeah.
It was definitely a post BSG Cylon thing.
And there's a lot of good mythology, and there's a lot of good heavy. I can't think of a show that leaned that heavy on religion, because the Cylons they're the ones who believe in God.
Oh yeah.
The humans aren't the ones that believe. They believe in multiple gods. So it's weird to see the quote unquote bad guy believing the religions that the real humans actually believe.
Right.
It's more based on Greek mythology, right? With like a Apollo.
Yeah, they're like a lot of
the
constellations
names.
and stuff like
Here's
that.
the thing, like, I think where that show ended, whether they planned it that way or not, it was the only place that show could have ended. Like, when I got to the final episode of the show, I wasn't surprised at all with where it ended up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they base a lot of the stuff around constellations. Like Caprica is the place they lived on,
Well, I mean,
Gemini and
that's-
all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, those.
But I think
were-
Apollo was just a call sign that was a holdover from the original Battlestar Galactica because that was somebody else's call sign.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Battlestar Galactica. It's 10 years. I didn't realize. It ended
wow.
in 2009, so it's been 10 years. There is a podcast for any of you who are interested, hosted by Trisha Helfer, who was the number 6 Cylon, the blonde with the red dress, and Mark Bernardin, who is the one half of Fat Man on Batman, and also Emmy-winning writer on Castle Rock. They do a episode by episode run through of Battlestar Galactica, and every once in a while they'll have a guest from the show. Like they've had Anders, the player, that athlete they had, the triangle player. He was on there for 2 episodes, and he was a fucking cool ass guest.
Michael Trucco.
Yep, Michael Trucco. They had Hilo on there a little while back.
Nice.
They've had Edward James Olmos on for a show, and they've had Michael Hogan on. So yeah, if you're interested in a B-Star G podcast, and I've been kind of like vicariously reliving the series through each one of these episodes.
You know, I saw a shirt at Heroes Con maybe 9 years ago that I really regret not having bought, and it was right around the peak Twilight, end of BSG era, and it had Edward James Olmos' face on it and said Team Edward.
Yes.
And I've always regretted not buying it.
Because even if you find it now, it's like, nobody gets this joke. Nobody appreciates it the way they would have appreciated it. Yeah, Battlestar, one of my favorite shows of all time. And we end this bad boy off with Brad Ledbetter, the face of Thirsty Nomad Brewery. He says, what replaces Harry Potter as the great fantasy fandom of the next generation? Which to me, I just assumed it was Ice and Fire.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Game of Thrones was kind of the thing.
I thought that it
mean,
already
there's still
replaced Harry
There's
Potter.
still a book coming out, so it's not
It's not
done
even
yet.
done
I mean,
yet, yeah.
everybody feels like it's over, but it's not really. And I think George R.R. Martin was waiting to see what happened at the end of the show. He's like, shit, rewriting all of this.
Yeah. Didn't work, huh? Control A, delete. Yeah.
I mean, aren't they still doing a prequel series or?
Yeah, man. HBO's gonna be. I think the Game of Thrones entity is gonna stick around for a little while longer.
I mean, is it too premature to even say that Harry Potter's done? I mean, it seems like it's still pretty. The fandom is still.
Rowling is certainly trying to
She
keep
keeps
it
coming
around.
out
That's
with a
what
new
I was
revelation
just gonna
and-
say. She's trying to kill it.
Writing a bunch of
Trying
short
to-
stories.
Yeah, she got the 4 short stories coming out. I think she's trying her hardest to keep the name Harry Potter in people's minds.
It's like weren't
It,
weren't there other kids at that school or something? Like,
Yeah. What about my man Lee Jordan? Can we get the Lee Jordan series? Yeah. What do you think, Leslie?
So, okay, so she's not trying to kill it. Fair. But trying to keep it alive is not working.
She's killing it by trying to keep it alive.
Exactly. I think you're going to disagree with me, but I'm going on the premise that, one, typically it's young adults that are pushing the fandom, growing the fandom, that sort of thing. And that it's best when you have a book series and a film series or a TV show. So in light of those things, I think The Wheel of Time has a good chance of becoming the next big fandom. It still, I mean, the series has been over for years. And it's an exceedingly long book series. But
Far too long.
if they manage to do the TV show right, I think it's accessible enough to young adults, whereas Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, you might have some parents who have a few issues with
Right.
their younger children
Yeah,
watching
that's a really
that.
good point. It's not for kids, so.
So so I lean towards Wheel of Time or possibly the King Killer Chronicles, because that's also supposed to be getting a TV show.
If only.
But I think that will fall into the same trap as Martin, where the show, in my opinion, quality writing would likely go down because Rothfuss hasn't finished the series yet.
Yeah.
Whereas The Wheel of Time is complete, has been complete, and just needs somebody who understands and respects the material enough to bring it to life in a good way.
It's weird that you would say a series that started before Harry Potter will be the next series to carry on fandom.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's
the other
that
the other side
TV
of that
show.
is-
It's the TV show. It's the newness of that.
It's so tough to find another Harry Potter just because I think that that first book, like the books kind of mature with the audience, right?
Yes.
So
Right.
you've got Harry Potter was like this perfect little thing that kids could enjoy and parents wanted to read with them, and so you kind of had this broad audience that kind of developed around it and grew up with it more than just about any other fandom because of how long it took for those books to come out. And it was like everybody's formative years were spent with this this character. And so Harry Potter's the kind of thing that for that generation is never ever going to go away.
Yep.
And so it's hard to say what the next thing would be because it takes more than just putting it out there to make a thing. And like, so if Wheel of Time comes out and the show is great, I don't know if kids will necessarily read the books. I don't know if Game of Thrones fans who have watched the show, I would say probably 40% max have read the books of the people who watch the show.
I think that's a generous number.
That might be
That's
generous.
a very generous number.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like in order to be a Harry Potter, you've got to do everything. You know, it's like a Pottermore and like this new thing. The what is it? Wizards Walk Around or whatever the name of the game
Wizards
is.
Unite.
Harry Potter, Wizards Unite.
So I mean, those sorts of things can't exist for everything, right? Like, I mean, it takes a certain sort of cultural touchstone to make those things work. And Harry Potter just is lightning on a boy's head, not in a bottle.
Stop. All right. We got 9 minutes left. Jermont, what are you nerding out on, man? What have you been checking out lately?
Oh, I just finished the aforementioned Jessica Jones.
Yeah. What's next?
That's a good question. I might actually get caught up on
Battlestar
Glow.
Galactica. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Caught up on some
Yeah.
Glow, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I've done that too.
I think I watched the cold open for the first episode of season 2. And it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
Going with some Glow next, huh?
yeah, I might do that over a weekend or something. Because
Well,
I think
you
they're
gotta-
usually only about 10 episodes, 30 minutes. So
Yeah, that's just one you can knock out quick. You do
Yeah.
have 4th of July coming up
Oh,
soon
yeah, that's
there.
right.
Yeah,
That's
you got to clear those calendars
yeah.
for the 4th of July.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stranger Things
Oh, yeah.
3, guys.
Yeah, I'm I'm grilling on the 3rd, just so because I have to work on the 4th, so I'm already down 8 hours right there. So as soon as I get off work, I don't want to have to fuck around with grilling my usual 4th of July grill. I just want to be able to throw that shit in the microwave, sit down, and watch 8 hours of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things I will allow for binging, but I will also not allow for skipping the intro on any given one of those episodes.
Like when that show first came out, everybody's talking about it. I think I came to it a couple months late. And I was like, I've been binging for years now. I wonder what it would be like to try to week to week a show. So I watched episode 1 on a Monday, and then next Monday I watched 2. I got 3, and I was like, fuck this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now, see, the thing is now when I binge, it's out of necessity. It's like we have 3 hours today, and we have no time the rest of the week. So we better catch up on Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
And that's
We
what
are
it, so it
still
turns into a thing.
behind.
All right. Yeah, we are. Leslie, what are you nerding out on?
Well, I recently started reading the 3rd book in the Dark Tower series.
Oh, yes.
So I've got that going, and as was just mentioned earlier, the Harry Potter Wizards United mobile
Yes.
game that is similar to Pokemon Go, but supposedly better.
You can catch wizards.
You just catch little children. And
Prison.
that's the
You're
whole
running your own
purpose of it.
Azkaban.
Make them fight.
So
You are the
you're-
Dementor.
You're working to keep the statute of secrecy a secret, and you are. There was a calamity that happened, so you and others
Calamity was
are
called the
going
Harry
out
Potter series.
and, defeating rogue creatures and
Rogue Squadron.
finding different like magical items and things, and you're doing spells and whatnot. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right then.
Is there any point where I'll be able to pit Psyduck against Newt Scamander? Can we get that crossover now, Niantic?
Brian, what do you know now?
Well, nothing yet. But last weekend of August in 2020, I will be attending Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. That's an official today because I got down on tickets for that, and they sold out real quick.
Yeah, they did.
They were gone in a flash. In fact, I had the on sale time mixed up because it was on Pacific time, and I thought, okay, 1 p.m. It was actually noon. So I logged in at 12:50 to get all ready, and it's like the tickets are already on sale. The VIPs are already gone.
Jeez.
So I jump into the queue, and it's just sitting there spinning and spinning and spinning. And then I had a meeting with work. Like I had to get into a Zoom meeting on the computer, and I just have that other window kind of up and behind me, so I can still watch the spinning, and I'm still having the meeting, and I'm yes, we're having a meeting, and then it stops and it pops up, and I go to the page, and it's like VIP sold out, 4-day passes sold out, and I'm like, fuck. I'm not going to go all the way to Anaheim for a day.
For 2 days, yeah.
So I was like, looks like I didn't make it. I go back, have the rest of my meeting, come back to the page afterwards to close it out, and while I'm looking at it, it blinks, and then the little order slot comes up for the 4-day passes. I'm like, wait, what just happened? So I immediately dive on that shit.
Yeah.
And I ordered a pass.
Nice.
I've got a confirmation and everything. So it's like it worked out.
Congratulations.
But yeah. So
Bravo.
I'm amazed that worked. But now it's time to figure out where I'll stay and how I'm gonna get there.
That's the thing about San
how I'ma
Diego.
eat.
San Diego is like a couple years in a row. Someone's like, "Look, I got your ticket, and I got a place for you to stay. You just got to figure out everything else." I'm like, "Those are the two cheapest things."
Yeah.
Well, the place to stay is actually kind of expensive. And I'm like, I just don't randomly have a plane ticket to California.
My cousin lived in San Diego for several years, and I never ever took her up on the offer.
I have two people in San Diego each year. They're like, "You can just crash on our couch if you want
I think
to."
I have an uncle that lives out there. Too,
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think me and my buddy are talking about maybe trying to go to New York next year because we went to the.
I'd rather go to New York than San Diego.
Yeah.
New York is a
frankly.
different vibe, man. It's
There's
a whole
more stuff to
different-
do, like in New York. Just
Yeah, like when you're done
outside
with the con.
yeah.
Yes, that is very true because it's right there. You can just hop over to Brooklyn, you can hop over to Bronx. You can get a whole bunch of
Times
different
Square,
things.
whatever,
Times
yeah.
Square.
Hookahs.
Yo, whores. Yeah, and as far as me, I'm still continuing my run of all things Bendis Avengers. And I've made it, I guess I'd be about 2 years into it by now. From a Disassembled up through Civil War.
So who's on the art right now where you're at?
Oh,
it
you know what?
Imminent?
I'm not even, no, it's not imminent yet. Not old
Maybe-
Stu.
maybe-
I like Stuart Eminence era on that.
Maybe
book. There was some
Deodato,
beautiful stuff
possibly.
I see, I've always been more of a writer guy than an art guy,
Yeah,
so I never
yeah.
really pay attention to who's doing art.
Because I know it was Finch initially, and then I feel like Deodato, because he's always the villain dude.
Yeah, I feel like Deodato might have started it off.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Koipel
stopped.
came in at one point, I think, right?
Who?
Koipel, Olivier Koipel came in at one point.
I have no
I know
idea.
I know he did the House of M thing.
Yeah.
He may have done some issues in the main series too.
I'm taking a detour right now because when I think it was right when Endgame hit, when Marvel just had a stupid sale on Comixology, I picked up Brubaker and Epting's whole Death of Captain America thing too. And so I stopped
That's
at Civil
solid.
War, and now I'm detouring through the whole Death of Captain America. That's like 3 volumes right there. When I get done with that, then I'll get back to Bendis'.
Man, I
Avengers
remember
run.
when Cap 25 came out, like the day it came out, it was all over the media and like everybody was talking about it. But I, for whatever reason, had not come anywhere close to a spoiler all day. And I went to my
Yeah.
comic shop. There were no copies on the shelf. All the guy at the register, like it was in my reserve bag.
Yeah.
So he handed it. He's like, "Hoy, good thing you reserved that one, huh?" And that was all he said about it. And I'm like, "It's fucking Captain America."
Yeah.
Like this
I totally did.
Oh, so you didn't?
like what
I
the
didn't
hell
see
is
it- I
going
didn't
on?
see it
So
coming
I
at
sat
all
down. No,
myself.
I didn't find out until I turned the page and it happened in the book.
Oh, wow.
And it was like,
okay.
so, and that doesn't happen very much at all.
Because
anymore,
nowadays
so.
there'd be like articles all over the.
There were. I mean, like it was like that. I just
It was in
dodged
a bubble, huh?
I was just that day I had not come in contact with any of it. So
oh man, you're a lucky dude. I remember the day before they revealed Jane Foster was going to be Thor. Marvel put out a press release and they're like, Jane Foster's Thor, guys, just so you know, so nobody gets spoiled. We're like, you fucks, you just spoiled it for us. I was so mad about that, man. So mad. But that's it. That is it for the June episode of Choose Our Own Adventure. We'll be back next month. I'm sure we can reserve a quick minute to talk about Stranger Things and some other stuff. And we appreciate all of you $7 donors on the Patreon for putting in, and all you $10 people for giving us some stuff to talk about. So keep doing that, please. So keep funding this shit.
They've chosen wisely.
They have chosen wisely. That's right. Until then, you guys take it easy, and we will see you next month.